there, music fans. You're watching another amazing episode of the Musicology Show, and I'm your host, Manel Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have two great bands for you today, TVA Parks and Hoity Toity. You don't want to miss it, so keep it locked right here on Musicology.
Like us ladies have one thing in common, and that's man.
Women, do you know that I've got this man? He acts like he can't understand. Spend some time. I wonder what is going on in his mind. Sometimes I feel like, oh hell, what's the use? Telling me hide and by, I am so confused. I want to love him 'cause he seems so sincere. I long to love him, but to hurt is my issues. That's what man brings. It's just issues. If you know what I mean. It's just issues. That's what man brings. It's just issues. If you know what I mean. Boy, you're the type that only do for yourself. You never think about anyone else. You have a child and you can't even come by. She tries to call you and you don't even reply. So I wrote that my body wasn't home alone. He like couldn't look me in the eyes when I asked him where he was last night. Boy, why I cry? It's just issues. Hey, that's what men bring. It's just issues. If you know what I mean. It's just issues. That's what men bring. It's just issues. If you know what I mean. Men always tell me that they're true. Why do they lie and do what they do? Don't listen to what they say. Investigate everything. Men always tell me that they're true. Why do they lie and do what they do? Don't listen to what they say. Investigate everything. I got issues. That's what men bring. It's just issues. If you know what
So, what is music? Just 2 years after the Beatles hit America in 1966, Iggy Pop decided to form a band that would be completely unlike anything that anyone had ever heard. Iggy formed the Stooges in Detroit, Michigan, with friends who can barely play instruments. They had very little music knowledge to interfere with the ideas that they had. Their 1968 performances consisted of Iggy's body contortions, self-mutilations, dives into the audience, and screamed insults at those who had come only to be entertained, not to be involved in the show. The Stooges' extreme bizarreness did not make them popular like the Doors, whose antics they predated. As a Neanderthal version of the Velvet Underground, the band managed to achieve the distinction of the first true influence on punk. Ironically, they were signed by the major label Elektra, and their 1969 debut was produced by John Cale. It was highlighted by the classic I Wanna Be Your Dog and the pre-punk No Fun. In 1969, they revealed the source of their outrageousness to be boredom, chanting "Another year with nothing to do." They were bored with the music scene, and bored with being poor, a condition that they remained in after not achieving anything above a cult status. Also from Detroit, MC5 articulated their boredom in a slightly more politicized and distinctively blue-collar manner, coming to prominence in the 1968 Democratic Convention riots as figureheads of John Sinclair's White Panther Party. While their heavy-sounding music was not particularly original, they were largely derivative of The Who, their attitude inspired many future punk bands, prophesizing the Sex Pistols with EMI and Virgin. Like the Stooges, MC5 was scooped up by Elektra. They were soon embroiled by the controversy over the lyric, "Kick out the jams, m***." When one record store called Harvey's refused to stock the album, the group responded by taking out a full-page advertisement in a local newspaper that read, "F*** Harvey's." Elektra was not amused, especially when MC5 went further and plastered stickers bearing the Elektra logo all over the record store's windows. MC5 and Elektra parted shortly after that. Singer Vincent Furnier, who acquired the name Alice Cooper from a Ouija board, expanded upon the theatrics of Iggy Pop's band of Theater of the Possessed with his own style of shock rock. With a Theater of the Absurd stage show consisting of garnished makeup, boa constrictors, and toy dolls meeting their death in electric chairs and gallows, it became increasingly difficult to remain bored in Detroit. Hope you enjoyed this segment of What is Music?
Vamos a bailar. Ven al artista. Why are you standing there by the wall? You need to get up and give me your all. Ven a bailar conmigo. Why are you standing there by the wall? You need to get up and give me your all. Vamos a bailar. Papi chulo, you're dancing so slow. Letting me know which way to go. Watch my body, can't you see that I want you dancing with me? Why are you standing there by the wall? You need to get up and give me your all. Give me your all. Why are you standing there by the wall? You need to get up and give me your all. Vamos a bailar. You better learn a step or two, 'cause dancing is what we came to do. If you look good to get all messed up, better go somewhere. 'Cause that's not what's up. Why are you standing there? You need to get up and give me your all. Why are you standing there by the wall? You need to get up and give me your all. Vamos a bailar. I can't
This is Indiana Rob with the Musicology History Tidbit. Me up inside, can't wake up, wake me up inside, save me with the Musicology History Tidbit.
It's Musicology.
The incredible singer, songwriter, and producer Amy Lynn Lee was born right here in Riverside, California, December 13th, 1981. The singer was exposed to entertainment by her TV personality father, John Lee. And at a young age, she started composing and took 9 years of piano lessons. Lee had a younger sister die at the age of 3 years old, and this seriously affected her writing throughout her life, including writing the song Fallen just for her deceased sister. May she rest in peace. Her family eventually moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, where she graduated from high school and briefly attended college when she dropped out to form the group Evanescence. Evanescence was formed in 1995 with guitarist Ben Moody, and they spent several years after meeting at youth camp playing local bookstores and coffee shops. The group's first full-length album sold 18 million copies, and Fallen won 2 Grammys. It's done 4 worldwide hit albums, including the new one, Synthesis. According to FamousPeople.com, Amy Lee once declared, "Music is therapy for me. It's my outlet for every negative thing I've ever been through. It lets me turn something bad into something beautiful." Amy Lee changes the world by being chairwoman of Out of the Shadows, an organization that helps people with epilepsy. She also does good work with Restore New York, an organization focused on the victims of sex trafficking. Amy married longtime friend and therapist Josh Hartzler in 2007 and started a family in 2014. She just produced a children's album, Dream Too Much, based off her motherhood experiences. She's now the highest paid singer in the world, making $82 million in 2017. Worth $245 million, holy sharkopotamus! Amy's quite the entrepreneur, owning the Fat Lee Burger chain and the Riverside Angels football team. And that's a Musicology History Tidbit!
Hi, this is Shelby from Hoity Toity, and this is our track, Out of Touch.
Why do I take the pressure? It's too much. Can't you see that we're out of touch? It's way too hard 'cause I am not that good. Be involved when
So, what is music? Punk rock is generally considered to have surfaced in 1975, but exactly who the first punk act was is undetermined. If anybody were to tell you that they can pinpoint the first punk band, they are either lying or confused. Many early bands such as Iggy and the Stooges, the MC5, Richard Hell, and Voidoids displayed some aspects of punk, but no band combined all the elements until the Ramones gathered in 1975. A new scene began to develop around the CBGB Club in New York. One of the bands that came out of that scene was the Ramones. The Ramones' self-titled debut album, released in 1976, was the first example of punk rock, and they are generally accepted as the creators of the genre. Being tired of music that they considered boring, the Ramones gathered and began to piece their own sound together. The lack of originality in music was a key factor in the creation of the Ramones' sound. Their music would usually only utilize a few chords per song, and lyrics were often repetitious of short phrases. Many popular punk bands were often referred to as three-chord wonders. Because of this, Ramones songs are characterized by their amateur and aggressive sound. Examples of some of their more famous songs include Sheena is a Punk Rocker, Cretin Hop, Pinhead, Now I Wanna Sniff Some Glue, Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio, and I Wanna Be Sedated. The Ramones brought back the 2-minute song, creating a sound that many found reminiscent of early rock and roll. Others, blown away by the buzzsaw guitars and unconventional lyrics, condemned them. The Ramones directly influenced British punk acts, helping to spawn the British punk scene. They played a 4th of July concert in London, which was attended by many members of future punk bands, such as the Sex Pistols, The Clash, The Damned, Generation X, and Susie and the Banshees. This was the seed for what was to become the huge London punk scene in 1977. The Sex Pistols took the amateurist style of the Ramones, added a streak of nihilism, creating a sound and an image that is still the ideal in punk rock. The maniac pace and aggression of the Pistols in the UK and the Ramones in the US is seen as the bucket of water that woke rock from the long Sgt. Pepper's-induced sleep. Then in 1993, California's Green Day and Bad Religion were both signed to major labels. The next year, Green Day put out Dookie, which became a huge hit, selling 9 million albums in the United States in just over 2 years. That June, Green Day's Longview reached #1 on Billboard's Modern Rock Tracks chart and became a top 40 airplay hit, arguably the first ever American punk song to do so. Hope you enjoyed this segment of What is Music?
Hey, this is Shelby from Hoity Toity, and this is our track, Person C.
Excuse me. You push me around, you throw me to the ground, but then I get back up. Why don't you shut up? I know you try to hide behind that stupid iPhone 5. Just get with it. This is real life. I go about my life haunting inside of me, taking on a storm. To rush in front of me, you say you wanna fight, can't you? Just let me be. Always about you, trying to make a scene. The world does not revolve around you. The world is not all about you. You're not classic anymore. If there's barely any left, you're not classic anymore. me around. You throw me to the ground, I better get back up. Why don't we shut up? You try to hide behind that stupid iPhone 5. Get with it. This is real life. This is real life. This is real life. This is real life. The world does not revolve around you. The world is not all about you. You're not classic anymore. If there's barely any left, you're not classic anymore. If there's barely any left, you're always such a bore. You're just so petty deaf. If there's barely any left, barely any left, you're so petty deaf.
Once again, I'm your host, Manel Michelle. Thank you so much for watching the Musicology Show. If you think you have what it takes to be on the show, submit your music to www.musicologyie.com. And who knows, you might be the next guest standing right here with me. See you next time.
Hello.
Sit back, relax, and close your eyes.
Thank you.